It's NBC 26 at 10. U.S. workers weighing in on the president's tariffs plan. Plus, one of the biggest conferences in the state set to kick off soon in Appleton. And dozens of people spent the morning raising money for child cancer research. But first, developing news at this time, a major police presence has blocked off both directions of Highway 141 in Oconto County. NBC 26's Matt Jarko is live on the scene tonight with more. Matt, what are you learning?
Mo, we are at Highway 141 here at County Road M in Lena, where police have blocked off traffic on 141 in all lanes and in both directions. We're being held back pretty far from the scene, but it looks like down 141 there we have seen some police activity. Again, it's difficult to see with how far back we are, but we have seen police lights up in that area. And in the past hour or so, we have started to see some officers leave the scene. It's not the same that when we first saw this a few hours ago. Now, at this time, police aren't providing us with any information about the scene ahead or why this road is blocked off right now. We first got a notification from the DOT at 5:15, and again, no information about why police are here or why this road is blocked off, but we will keep you updated with the latest information as it develops. In Oconto County, Matt Jarko, NBC 26.
Matt, thank you. Also new tonight, a total of 6 people were on board a helicopter that crashed into New York City's East River. Mayor Bill de Blasio's spokesperson has confirmed that at least 2 people are dead. Divers continue to search where the aircraft went down just after 7 p.m. The crash is still under investigation. Well, a nice weekend so far. So what's the work week going to look like? Gino Recchi has a look at your first forecast. Gino.
Well, if you enjoy the mild weather, high upper 30s and lower 40s, you're going to enjoy it over the next few days. There is a brief cool down, especially on Tuesday, but then we'll go back into the upper 30s and even some 40s and 50s later on. But 41 degrees was our high temperature today, 34 up towards International Falls. There's some cooler air that's going to be moving on in here as a cold front's coming through the area right now. Average high is 37 degrees, but we have more warm air. I'll let you know when that returns coming up.
Gino, thank you. We're covering America now. President Trump visits the state of Missouri this week, where Harley-Davidson is headquartered, also where some workers are concerned about the recent tariff plan. Here's Garrett Hacka.
An American icon moving out of Missouri.
Everybody ate and lived and breathed Harley-Davidson, but there's been a lot of loyalty lost.
Facing declining sales, Harley-Davidson says they are consolidating factories, eliminating hundreds of jobs. And tariffs are partially to blame, already in place for Harley's major Asian markets.
How'd y'all find out that this plant was going to be closing?
Walked into a 5 o'clock morning town hall meeting.
No warning.
No warning. It was shock.
2 months ago, the company announced the closure of its Kansas City plant, relocating 450 positions to Pennsylvania and putting 800 people out of work in Missouri. Last year, Harley announced plans to build a new factory in Thailand to circumvent foreign tariffs already in place on American bikes.
Made in America. Harley-Davidson. Made in America.
A year ago, the president called Harley a great American manufacturer that he hopes will add jobs in the U.S. But the new U.S. tariffs will increase steel prices for Harley-Davidson. The company saying in a statement tariffs will drive up costs and would have a significant impact on sales.
What countries are doing is trying to figure out ways to get back at the U.S. for these steel and aluminum tariffs in the ways that are most politically painful possible. So that's why they're looking at these kind of national icon brands like Harley-Davidson.
And European officials have already threatened retaliatory action against imported Harleys, likely hurting sales abroad and the very workers the president vowed to protect.
Do you guys think D.C. gets it with what's going on in places like Kansas City?
No. I mean, I believe it's a great headline grabber for politicians, right? To say, oh yeah, we care and this and that, but when push comes to shove, I mean, it's not affecting them on a daily basis like it is the people in this plant.
American workers losing jobs and losing faith in the heartland. Garrett Hake, NBC News, Kansas City, Missouri.
Also, President Trump held a rally in western Pennsylvania last night, campaigning for State Representative Rick Saccone. Trump spoke at the Pittsburgh International Airport to endorse Saccone for next week's special election in the state's 18th congressional district. president didn't hold back on criticizing Democrats for blocking his agenda. He also attacked sanctuary cities and called for tougher punishment for drug dealers. Despite being in office for just more than a little over a year, he's already got his eyes on 2020.
I look forward, I really do, I look forward to 2020 because I want to see how far left the person is going to be that we're going to run against. I look forward to it.
And the special election is to replace Republican Representative Tim Murphy, who resigned last year amid allegations of sexual misconduct. Voters go to the poll on Tuesday. Students, teachers, and parents in Palm Beach County held a memorial walk honoring last month's deadly school shooting. They gathered outside Lake Worth Middle School and walked 17 miles. That's 1 mile for each victim. The walk took about 7 hours.
I was a teacher there for 14 years, and I now teach in Palm Beach County, and where I work out of Lake Worth, and a lot of the students knew that, and they wanted to do something special for, not just for me, but for the victims and the survivors.
And organizers say the walk also showed unity for change when it comes to safety in schools. And as many mourn the loss of the 3 hostages killed in the VA home shooting in California, one veteran who knew the women personally is reflecting on the care they got from him. Sean Foster went to Pathway Homes to pay respects to Kristen Lieber, Jennifer Gonzalez, and Jennifer Golick. The women were killed during a shooting Friday night. He says they went above and beyond for veterans like him.
They were some of the most loving people I've ever met. You know, they dedicated their lives to helping guys like me and some of my buddies, you know, some of my good friends.
Also, a group of family and friends came together to grieve the death of 30-year-old Pomona officer Gregory Casillas. He was killed during a 15-hour standoff Friday night. Officials say Casillas, along with another officer, were both wounded. The officer first joined the force back in 2014. He leaves behind a wife and 2 small children. And covering Wisconsin now, local leaders are hoping to give new life to pieces of history deep inside the Lake Michigan waters. They want dozens of shipwrecks to become a national sanctuary. But as NBC 26's Matt Jarko shows us, the state is reversing course and blocking the move.
As the season turns,
beautiful day, sunny, warm,
and Lake Michigan reveals its waters once again, it still hides some secrets underneath.
There's, some diving opportunities and kind of more historic things that are literally below the water.
From Two Rivers to Port Washington, dozens of shipwrecks sit off the western shores of Lake Michigan. In 2014, the state officially nominated the area for status as a national marine sanctuary.
We really feel that would have helped tell the wonderful story that we tell here in these lakeshore communities.
Local leaders say the sanctuary would bring added recognition and boost local tourism and economic development. They hoped for final designation later this year or early next.
I would say the sanctuary process was about 90% of the way to the finish line.
Until 2 weeks ago, when Governor Scott Walker rescinded the nomination.
The biggest surprise is that it wasn't a call for more dialogue or a request for additional consideration. Let's see if we can reach a compromise on issues. It was a termination of the process.
Walker wrote the designation would create further unnecessary bureaucratic red tape. He says the shipwrecks are and will be protected.
It's just very disappointing.
Local leaders expected the designation to go on. Now they just hope to keep the conversation alive.
There are still shipwrecks yet to be rediscovered and unearthed.
In Two Rivers, Matt Jarko, NBC 26.
The Milwaukee Police Department offering a $5,000 reward for information on the return of a rare Picasso print. It was stolen from a downtown Milwaukee art dealer nearly a month ago. The original print is worth an estimated between $35,000 to $50,000. And officials in a southern Wisconsin county have proposed a large solar energy project. Dane County is seeking proposals to build it just north of the Dane County Regional Airport. County officials say the project would generate 8 megawatts of electricity on 41 acres of airport-owned property. Now, there's no answer on how long it will take or how many solar panels will be needed or what the price tag is. As of now, the proposal is still in its early stages. The Wisconsin Governor's Conference of Tourism is kicking off. Members of the state's tourism industry are meeting in Appleton until March 13th at the Fox Cities Exhibition Center and Radisson Paper Valley Hotel. Organizers say it's the tourism department's flagship event featuring people from 72 counties. Governor Walker will speak at the conference tomorrow as well. Organizers say it's all about education in the industry.
What are the latest tourism trends internationally around the country? What should Wisconsin expect? What's the economic forecast? And then we launch our creative for 2018.
I'll be right back with the weather. Stay with us.
And now, your Storm Shield forecast from NBC 26.
Well, it's comfortable right now, 36 degrees, and guess what? It was a pretty comfortable day as well. We had plenty of sunshine to kick off the new day, and we could tell by, if you take a look off towards the distance, some high-level clouds. That was the only difference. We had a weak disturbance that's now starting to move in here and bring in a chance of some flurries. We got current temperatures right now down into the 30s, but that cloud cover is acting as a thermal blanket and preventing us from cooling down even farther. Winds coming in out of the west at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That'll be the case as we get into the overnight period. This is what the radar is looking like right now. A few flurries moving through the area. Now, some of it is not even reaching the surface because of that dry air from a high pressure that brought in the nice sunshine today. But up towards the north in the UP of Michigan, that is where they're seeing a little bit more steadier snowfall up towards Marquette, where a little bit of some light accumulations expected. But the reason why we're seeing the snowfalls from this low pressure system coming down from Canada in between these two levels of high pressure, that's going to bring in a few passing flurries into the early morning, probably before sunrise, and then as that cold front comes through the area, could perhaps see additional flurries late in the afternoon. Where it is seeing more steady snowfalls down to the south along the Ohio River Valley, they're seeing as much as 6 to 8 inches of snowfall, and then up towards the north, yes, another winter storm watch, another nor'easter heading in. It looks like between 5 to as much as 10-12 inches of snowfall from this currently unorganized system, but it's going to rapidly intensify as it moves up the northeast coast. So as we get into the overnight period, this low pressure moves down to the south. That brings in a few passing flurries. Then during the day tomorrow, perhaps a little bit of some sunshine, but late tomorrow evening, as that solar energy starts to destabilize the atmosphere, could spark off a few passing flurries and maybe a stray snow shower late tomorrow night. But then hopefully this high pressure moves in here by Tuesday and starts to clear those skies out. So for tonight, cooling down into the upper 20s. We should see these snow showers move out of the area by the morning hours, perhaps a little bit of some sunshine. But then as we get later on into the evening, notice a few passing snowflakes and maybe even a few passing flurries move into the area as we get into the overnight period. So for tonight, 28 degrees. We have winds coming in out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, going with highs in the upper 30s. Yes, another chance of a few passing flurries, especially late in the evening hours. Then next 7 days, take a look at this. We got highs going back into the 40s and even perhaps near 50 degrees on Saturday. We have more news coming up, so make sure to stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
And as you can hear, there's a big day coming up for the Green Bay Preble High School Marching Band. Next Saturday, they'll be marching in the St. Patty's Day Parade in New York City. The band will have more rehearsals in neighborhoods around the school if you want to check them out. The final send-off will be on March 15th, and the students are ready for the big stage.
This is not happy fun time. This is work time, and they really are taking it seriously. They're focused, and they're getting it done today.
And the band is no stranger to big events. They've performed in Disney World and in front of former Vice President Joe Biden. And dozens of people shaving their heads to raise funds and awareness for childhood cancer research. This morning, St. Brendan's and Green Bay hosted a St. Baldrick's Foundation head shaving event. Organizers say the event has already generated more than $50,000. Some kids volunteered even for the first time.
I'm very proud of myself that I stuck with it, and I'm happy that another kid's gonna get my hair.
And Celeste, who you just saw there, also says she plans on doing it again next year. Well, that's going to do it for me, but we're not done yet. Chris Barrier will be here for Sports Rewind.
Good evening.
morning. Welcome to Sunday Sports Rewind. I'm your host, Chris Berry. We got a lot to get to tonight, but we begin with the green and gold and free agent frenzy. This week, we saw the first flex of muscle from Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst to trade with the Browns on Friday that sent cornerback Demarius Randall to Cleveland for a second-year quarterback DeShone Kizer. Fans seemingly, well, okay with this move, but there are some questions left to be answered. For instance, why Demarius? He showed signs of greatness last season after recording an interception in 3 consecutive games, the first Packer to do that since Casey Hayward in 2012. Hayward, side note, got a 3-year extension today with the Chargers. As for Randall, what was it about his attitude? Demarius was benched in Week 4's game against the Bears after a poor coverage play that led to a touchdown. And then after Randall criticized the Packers' defense at the end of the season, Coach McCarthy said this about his starting corner.
I'll tell you what I told Demarius. He needs to focus on himself. He's got to clean his own house, and that's what I look for him to do in the offseason.
Without Randall, this is the cornerback depth chart as it stands today. Kevin King, a rookie who spent most of last season battling a shoulder injury, and Devon House, a free agent signing who played okay, but now he's a free agent again. So there certainly seems to be a hole to fill in that secondary. And based on what Gutekunst told reporters at the NFL Combine a few weeks ago, the Pack will not be afraid to go after a big name.
We're about to hit it here in a couple weeks, and we're excited and we're ready to be aggressive. And like our big thing is let's be exceptionally prepared to pull the trigger if the right opportunity presents itself.
If Gutekunst does try and pull that trigger on a big free agent corner, here are a couple of guys that could be on his radar. Reports have said the Packers are pursuing LA Rams' Tremaine Johnson. He's probably the highest touted free agent at this position. His best year was 2015. He recorded 58 tackles and 7 interceptions. Another option could be Malcolm Butler from New England. But if Demarius Randall was a character issue, perhaps the guy who was benched in the Super Bowl by Bill Belichick isn't the best option for his replacement. On the other side of this deal, a promising young quarterback, DeShone Kizer, comes to Titletown. Obviously, Green Bay wants more competition for Aaron Rodgers' backup after Brett Hundley struggled last season. But don't expect this to be a shoo-in. Kizer still has to battle with Hundley for that number 2 job. Kizer is a second-round pick with a lot of promise, but his numbers are pretty similar to Brett Hundley's. In fact, Brett has much better touchdown to interception ratio. Kizer threw 22 interceptions last year, and of course, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, well, then none of this really matters anyways, does it? And that's pretty much what I'm best at, telling you things that do not matter. When we come back, more of that. The March Madness brackets are out, plus this does matter. Hear from the champs, the Appleton North Lightning girls basketball team. You're watching Sunday Sports Rewind. Welcome back to the show. The NCAA men's basketball brackets are out. In the South, Virginia is the number 1 seed. Wright State is a 14 seed after winning the Horizon League. They went through UWGB to do so. The Huskies will face Tennessee in the first round. Over in the East, Villanova earns a 1 seed. Purdue lost in the Big Ten title to Michigan, but they still get a 2 seed. Down in the West, Xavier is the 1 seed. Your Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines are a 3. Tough date for them with Montana in the first round. And finally in the Midwest, Kansas, the number 1 seed. Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans, a number 3. Always dangerous this time of year, and awfully strange not seeing Wisconsin. The Badgers missed the tournament for the first time since 1998. In fact, Wisconsin didn't even make the NIT. Marquette did, though. They are a number 2 seed, and they'll play Harvard in the first round. The women's brackets come out tomorrow. UWGB is an automatic bid. They'll have a viewing party at the Green Bay Distillery at 6 p.m. Switching to high school now. Last year, the Lightning struck at the Girls State Basketball Championships. Appleton North won their first gold ball in school history. This year, as a number 4 seed in the tournament, many wondered if the Lightning could do it again. Here's Kelly Price.
Defense wins championships, and that's exactly what Appleton North did Saturday night at the Resch Center. The Lightning held McQuantico to just 15 points in the second half, winning 45-32 in a dominant end-to-end performance, going back-to-back as Division I state champions.
Joe told us before the game, that it's going to be one between the ears. It's a mental game tonight, and so we didn't really shoot particularly the best, but I think we were the mentally stronger team. We got in their heads. Our defense flustered them. So for us, this whole season, it was about being mentally strong.
Along with mental strength and experience on the state's biggest stage, North showed its depth, with 10 underclassmen playing 88 minutes and contributing 15 points and 12 rebounds.
I think that they really embraced everything. I think they embraced the adversity. I think they embraced,
each other. You know, we had to fill voids in our team. Our kids stepped up and did it and just bought into it.
North was off to a 10-0 start in the first half, led at the break, and came out of halftime with a 16-2 run to eventually go up by 20.
If we got the lead, we knew we could control the game. And, you know, my halftime speech was pretty simple. It wasn't X's and O's. It wasn't anything flashy. It was Aaron Rodgers, relax. You know, and I danced a little bit, and they laughed, and they loosened him up.
After being seeded 4th out of the 4 D1 teams at state, the Lightning used the perceived snub as motivation and played with their hearts on their sleeves Friday and Saturday.
It's definitely, like we talked about before the game, leave everything on the floor. But, I mean, it was definitely hard work, and I think that we really believed in ourselves, and we knew that the experience would pay off.
Levy finishes her career with 2 gold balls and is the Lightning's all-time leading scorer and rebounder. Meanwhile, in her final game, Brecky put up 11 points and was vital on the floor, helping hold McWanago to just 32% shooting, a monster effort to repeat their state title dream.
It's pretty crazy that last year we experienced a state title for the first time, and this year we get to experience it again. And not many girls get to even play at the Rush Center, let alone win 2 state titles. So, I mean, it's surreal, and to go out like this senior year with 4 of my teammates. I mean, we played for our seniors tonight, and I think that showed. So I'm really proud of my team.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Next weekend, it's the Boys State Championships, and the Fox Valley has 5 local teams headed to Madtown: Oshkosh North, Kaukauna, Valders, Roncalli, and Green Bay New Lutheran all won sectional titles last night and punched their tickets to state. So here's what awaits them in Madison. The Oshkosh North Spartans are in a 1 seed in D1 after taking down the defending state champs, Stevens Point. North will face 4th seed Hamilton. In D2, the Kaukauna Galloping Ghosts are the 1 seed. They'll play the Westosha Central Falcons. Kaukauna won the title 2 years ago, but they missed out on the tourney last season. How about this story in D3? The Valders Vikings upset Xavier in the sectional final, ending the Hawks' 53-game winning streak, the longest active in the state. Now the Vikes are headed to the tournament for the first time since 1984. They'll play Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Division 4, the Roncalli Jets are headed to state for the 7th time in their school history. They'll play Partyville. Love that name, by the way. Finally, in D5, Green Bay New Lutheran won its sectional by just 1 point, so the Blazers will face the Bangor Cardinals. Should be fun. I'll leave you with this. Final round of the Valspar Championship. Tiger Woods in contention. 2 strokes behind the leader, Paul Casey, looking at a 40-foot putt on the 17th green, and this is just shades of the 1990s. Justin Timberlake, and that's what we remember from the 90s. He sinks it for birdie, just his 2nd of the day, and it puts him at 9 under par. Look at that smile. So good to see that again on the course. To the 18th, Woods has a good approach, faces another long putt for birdie to tie, and it's just short. Tiger would settle for a final round of 68, tied for 2nd place, his best finish since December of 2013.
I keep getting just a little bit better and a little bit sharper. Today wasn't quite as sharp as I would like to have had it, but I had a good shot at winning this golf tournament, and a couple putts here and there could have been a different story.
Tiger will play in next week's Arnold Palmer Invite. Maybe, just maybe, he'll play in the Masters in the first weekend of April. Well, that's all the time we got. For Kelly Price and our entire production crew, I'm Chris Farrer saying thank you for watching Sunday Sports Rewind, and have yourself a good night.